What is going on, Teach Better family? It is Wednesday, June 9th. June 9th somehow already. It's 5 o'clock Eastern time, which means it's time for your Teach Better Brain Break. As you can see, I've got a special guest who I just realized moments ago was my special guest last week. So, I think at this point, Dave's out, Josh is in. Congratulations, Teach Better family. We just upgraded everything. So, we're going to jump into some stuff. I've actually got questions, Josh, from the listeners to your Aspire Leadership, the Leadership Development Podcast, your podcast. They submitted some questions to ask for you, and I gave them an option of being either serious, joking, personal, whatever. They went all joking or pretty much all personal. So we're gonna get into that. If you're watching right now, jump in the comments. Let us know where you're at. What are you watching? Where are you watching from? What platform are you on? And what are you taking a break from right now? Are you still in class? Still in your school? Are you done? Are you already on spring or summer break? What's going on? And if you have a question that you want me to throw at Josh, you can do that too. We got him for the hour, so we're gonna have some fun. We'll be back in about 1 minute and chatting soon. All right, so I'm realizing that my mic. Can you hear me still hear me, Josh?
I can.
My mic was switched on to my mic here, and Josh was so observant to realize that this was rubbing. That's what you were hearing, right?
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. Yeah.
Should be good now, right? No.
Yeah.
All right, good. Because I'm like, why do I have this mic here? Can't see if it's not gonna be on. So it's on. Yeah. So we're good. Carly Spina's in the house. What's up, Carly? First brain break and what feels like I think it's been weeks. Honestly, I really do. Karina, good to see you. Good to see everyone else that's chiming in. We'll see everyone else is going to hear. Josh Oshman, have you on again? Thanks for jumping in. It's not easy working with Dave Schmittou.
Don't I know?
It just we're just constantly picking up his slack, and here you are again, stepping up and picking up his slack. So I appreciate that. I've got a drink. Do you have a drink?
I do, but it's not like any fun. It's more healthy. It's kombucha.
Well, hey, it just doesn't have that can be fun too. Healthy is fun, Josh. Like being healthy and alive is good. It was just funny. Last week, Dave and I went back to original. We did just a FaceTime chat where we both had a drink in our backyards, which is like how this whole thing started.
Yeah.
If you don't know already, like Dave's moving, so like. It was that was like our last time of like me being on my back steps and him being in his backyard and everything. So it was a moment.
It was a moment.
It was a moment. So like for me, I'm like, that's enough, Dave. We can get Josh back. So Josh is back. Adam, good to see you, brother.
What's up,
Lindsay
Adam?
Titus, always good to see you as well. Lindsay's got a big weekend coming up.
She does.
With the Day of Discovery. If you haven't got that, Lindsay, do me a favor, drop the link if it's possible to still register. Can you drop the link in the comments so we can share that with everybody? But she's got some our good friend Hans Apple keynote in that, as well as a whole bunch of other awesome folks on that list. So, you are just about done, right? Kids are done at your school, but you've got one more day left. One more contract day.
Yes, I'm gonna do quotes though, because we all know the life of the admin is beyond the contract. But yes, I have one more contract day tomorrow. Our district is getting together all the admin, and we're kind of having a little pep rally, getting us ready for the next school year.
Gotcha. Brianna, good to see you. Brianna Shaner in here. I haven't seen you for a little while either. And Lindsay, there you go. Lindsay dropped it there. So if you're on Facebook, you can see the link there from Lindsay. She made it easy with the Bitly. So go get register for that.
And I was going to say, make sure that you have her journal.
Oh yeah, I got a copy over there too. Nice. So it was funny. You said day of what did you say? It was like you said beyond the contract.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever seen like Beyond the Mat, which is like a wrestling like documentary stuff. I feel like you should do a documentary on being an administrator that's called Beyond the Contract. It's just like a year in the life of an administrator and
duties as assigned.
That could be really powerful.
Yeah.
I think teachers could do that as well. The same concept. So
yep.
Now, so what I did was, this is the funny part because I'm like, oh, Josh is going to be on Brain Break. This is awesome because I completely forgot that you were on Brain Break literally last week. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to reach out to the Spire group because we're in the there's a Voxer group that's pretty active. And I'm like, I'm going to ask them if they have any questions. I'm like, and I gave them the option. I was like, hey, look, like this can be funny. It's Brain Break, so it can be funny, lighthearted, it can be joking, it can be whatever. I said, well, it can be like serious. If you want us to get deep, we can get deep. We got kind of deep last week,
Yeah.
Every now and then, Dave and I go, well, they chose to not go deep, so we're not going to go deep. But I have some questions, so I think we're just going to roll through these questions and then see where the questions take our conversation. And we'll just
I saw the Voxer group going off, but I didn't realize that's what the conversation was. I have yet to listen. So
yeah, so the funny thing is, I actually said in my message, I'm like, and I realized that Josh is going to see all of these questions in here. And I said, but if you have something like you want me to throw them off, like give me a private one. No one sent me a private message, so
they're being nice, but I didn't
worries there.
Or listen to the boxes. So
okay, well, really good. So the first one that came through was JC. JC Maslow said, she commented on how the Stampers, your family, you guys are super just adventurous. You're always out, you're camping, you're always you take advantage. You really go for these experiences and these adventures and stuff. We talked a little bit about that last week too. We touched on that. So she was just curious, like, what's in the works this summer? What's the plan? And we touched on this last week a little bit, but let's do that again. Like, what are the plans for the Stamper crew as far as adventures? I know you're going somewhere in July, but I think you're going somewhere earlier too. What's on the docket? Because I think you have some adventurous and then one that's not quite as outdoor adventurous, right? Is that right?
It's outdoors, but not so much adventurous. One is adventurous, one is more leisure. So next week we're going to go camping. So that's typically what we do is we like to go out to some Texas state parks. And anyone that knows Texas geography, I mean, you can drive 8-9 hours and still be in the state. And so there are very different regions and very different landscapes. But we love hiking, love going camping, cooking on the fire like we talked last week. And most of it is just getting out and exploring. And so our boys are extremely active. For anyone that knows my family, I've got one girl who's the oldest of the kids and then 4 boys. So you can imagine what that activity level is. So they're wonderful going outside and exploring as much as possible. This camping trip, we're actually going to be off of the lake. So we're going to be not only hiking, but we're going to be fishing too. So
nice.
We're gonna try some of that and hopefully.
Are the Stampers? Are you big fishers? Like is fishermen, fisher people?
Fishermen. We do like to fish. It's just.
Now, do you flame and cook them too? Like, do you?
No, it's typically we just catch and release.
Okay.
So East Texas, we'll go out and we'll fish out there, and catfish is typically what we catch, and then most of the time we just release. But being from Minnesota lakes, they're everywhere. So I was fishing up growing up, but Texas is a little bit harder to find.
One of my favorite things is when up in Canada when we fish and like actually filleting the fish and knowing that like literally me handling it from taking it off the hook to filleting it to cleaning it to taking it up and it being put in a pan and then boom it's on a plate like I'm like that. I don't know why I love that. I'm like now it's even better if I catch it, but a lot of times my catches have to get put back because and then my wife catches dinner. But when I do catch one, I'm like, oh yeah, we're cooking this tonight. I don't care if that was on the menu for dinner or not. All right, so that's good. So then Michelle Papa took us to the next step. It was like, okay, so what ideas, what recommendation does Josh have for the rest of us? Like, how can we join the Stampers? Not necessarily like physically, like actually join. How can we join you and have an adventurous summer and but also like relaxing and stuff like that? What are your essentially? She's looking for like the how to have a fun, adventurous family tips and tricks from Joshua Stamper, if that's a thing.
Oh wow! Well, I mean, we just love the
outdoors. By the way, just so everyone who's watching knows, that lots of tips and tricks in the Beyond the Contract documentary. So like it's all embedded in there. So keep your eyes out for that.
And that's kind of a good point, right? Because we were so called into the office or into the building because of beyond the contract, we need to make sure that we're having a very dedicated time to our family. And so that is why we like to go out and go camping, is because we feel like we just kind of disconnect from the busyness and for the technology and just the rat race of life, right? So that is our way of doing it. I know not everyone enjoys camping, but even if just going on a trip allows you to get away from the stresses of life. So
I think the key is to be very, very intentional about scheduling something that's intentional for a reason of going and spending time with your family or whoever that is you want to spend time with, and relaxing and recharging and disconnecting if that's what you need to do.
Yeah, for sure. I think so many times, a lot of people, you'll ask them, when was the last time you went on vacation? And some people, it's like 3, 4, 5 years that they haven't stepped away for a long period of time just to rejuvenate. And that's so important. And it doesn't have to be anything extravagant by any means.
I mean, a lot of times you're only going a couple hours away, right? But it's enough where it's like, hey, we're a couple hours away. We're setting up a tent. So
and
it doesn't have to.
It's like $20. It's
exactly.
Like
it doesn't have to be super expensive and crazy.
But the experience and being together, and of course, camping is a totally different experience of trying to rough it and survive the the experience, the nature and whatnot. So that's fun for us. That's something that as a family we love, and I think that's the other piece, is like find something that everyone can enjoy.
Yeah, got it. Like it. All right, so then Greg Moffat, he gave us like 30 questions, so we're gonna roll through these. These are sort of the
Gargus, I forgot though. The second trip, we're going to the beach.
Oh yeah, the second trip you're going to Alabama, right?
Going to Alabama, yeah.
How close are you going to be to Florida? Did we talk about that? Because like Dave's going, he's going to be living right on that border. You might be close to Dave.
I need to reach out to Dave because I got to figure out distance wise where we're at. So
Florida's another one of those states like Texas. Like, oh my God, I'm going to Florida. We're going to Siesta Key, which is like northern west coast of Florida. And I'm like, oh, well, and Dave's moving to like the far west of the planet. I'm like, that can't be like, we got to be maybe whatever. It's like 6 hours.
Right.
I'm like, I'm not even down. Like, we're not even like down like at the end of like Florida's another one of those big states that you don't realize how big it actually is.
Yeah.
All right. So Greg wants to know, what are you streaming right now on? This is I'm going to take this two parts. So what streaming do you do? He put, what are you streaming on Netflix, Hulu, or Disney Plus? But like, what do you stream on? What are your streaming go-tos? Do you have everything? Do you just Netflix? Where are you typically at? Where do you typically find yourself?
Well, lately we've been on Netflix.
What are you streaming on Netflix?
Schitt's Creek. Going back, we've watched it so many times, but going back. But Disney Plus, we love Star Wars. All of the Star Wars, right, and Marvel. So I'm pretty excited about tonight because Loki just came out, first episode.
Okay.
So I'm geeking out. Haven't seen it yet, but once the kids go down, me and the wife, we're gonna dive into Disney Plus on that show. So pretty excited.
I'm in Disney Plus right now, but it's the Mighty Ducks Game Changers and Big Shot.
Yeah,
and Big Shot. So a lot of nostalgia there for me because the Mighty Ducks. I mean, that was just my childhood growing up. So like I'm loving that. And then Big Shot. I don't know if you know, that's the one with John Stamos. Mm-hmm. It's actually not a bad series. I'm enjoying a decent bit of it. Some younger actors and actresses in there that I think might be a springboard, but it's been fun. So I've been doing a lot of Disney Plus. So then you got where are your other go-tos? You have like, all right, well, I'm on Hulu right now. I'm streaming this. On Netflix, I'm streaming this. Is that how you are, or is just you bounce to where you find something?
Just
so what's your Hulu right now? You got anything streaming?
No, because shows are kind of on hiatus, so we haven't really been in Hulu so much. Honestly, Netflix is where I'm at right now for the most part. But like every once in a while, we pick up Prime or
I'm stuck. I'm not stuck. I'm almost to the end of Lost for the I don't know what 1,000th time. But a lot. But I'm down to like the final. I think they got like 5 episodes left. So I've over the last several weeks, I've been binging all of that again. But I pause in between because like the other day I watched like 3 episodes of Burn Notice, which is one of my favorite shows ever.
Nice.
And I've watched that whole series like I don't know. I mean, a lot. And then I've got How I Met Your Mother going on too,
Yep.
and that's like
Done that
God, I don't know.
multiple
I've gone through that at least 10 times.
Yep.
So I like to lots. I rewatch stuff a lot because I like having background noise when I'm working, and if I don't want to do a podcast, because sometimes I don't want a podcast because I'm like I want to listen and learn, and I don't want to watch the video because but watching a movie or show or series that like I've seen, so I
Right.
get it, is nice because I have that noise, but I don't have to pay attention to it. So I don't know. That's just how my head is.
Sure.
So it's Maurice knows. So Maurice knows because we did the Lost thing way back in the day. It was funny. Lost. I'm a huge Lost fan.
Love
Like
Lost.
here, like I still like during this, I was back into like the Lost wiki, like and diving into all the things. Here's the crazy thing about Lost is like we moved in the first night that we were in our house here. I was building a bookshelf or something in the living room, and I just had it on. They were doing like it was after season 3. They did the ABC thing. It was like with the directors because they were like, "Hey, we realize after 3 seasons, none of you have any clue what's going on. So we're gonna do this recap so that maybe you understand." I'm like, "Oh, that seems like a pretty cool show," and I've heard good things. I just haven't watched it. So I literally watched season 3 because like season 3 is now free because like when they first started doing that. So I watched all of season 3 and I'm like, "Wow, I really enjoy this show."
Yeah,
So
been
then
so confused.
No, yeah, it was crazy though because then I went back to season 1 and watched. It was kind of neat because I already sort of had ideas of what was happening, but I didn't have on the context. So what didn't necessarily like it didn't like really like a spoiler like ruin it for me. It was really
Right.
neat. So then I ended up watching all the way through, and Amy started watching this, became a thing. So I'm a big fan of Lost. So I'm through that again here, watching again. Alana, good to see you. So she does Grey's Anatomy. I know a lot of people that do Grey's Anatomy.
Yes.
Holly, good to see you. Megan, good to see you. Hey, Megan's in the house.
Megan.
Please flood it with green hearts
Yes.
for Megan, please. All right, so what's a song on your most played list? Like, what's one of the songs that you like? What's one of your go tos? Most played all time, or maybe currently?
Oh goodness. There's so many, Jeff.
I don't know any. So this is interesting because I don't know if I know anything about Josh Stamper's like music interest. Are you
really?
a rock guy, a country guy, a rap guy? Like,
No,
where do you
not
go?
country, not country.
Well, that's good. That guy got kicked off this show. So
Not country. Yeah, I'm alternative rock, man. The '90s. You know, I'm a '90s kid, so Smashing Pumpkins is like my all-time favorite group.
okay,
Yeah.
nice.
So anything from them, I'm down. So
Fun fact: my band for a very short period of time we covered Today.
there you go.
That was a good time.
I was just listening to 1979 on the way back from
Nice.
work, so yeah.
So what's but like what about anything current? Any current bands that are that do that you dig
NF,
on? Or?
rap, you know, NF. I'm a huge
Okay.
NF fan. Me and my wife got to see him before the pandemic.
Okay.
In fact, a tornado almost hit us.
Okay.
They had to delay the concert, and then he came out and just rocked it. So, yeah, huge NF
Gotcha.
fan. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I'm all over the board with music. Anything
Me
outside
too.
country, I'll listen to it. So
I'm all over the board, including country. Like
Like-
literally nothing's off limits for me.
Black Pumas, they're a great group that I've been listening to. Kind of like a rock soul,
Mhm.
southern rock feel to it. So, yeah,
Very cool. Carly's sister.
nice.
Awesome. Interesting. Are you a big concert guy? Because I mean, I used to go to just ridiculous numbers of concerts, and then Amy and I started getting back into it, and then because we missed it, and then COVID hit.
Yes, it's just hard, you know, with kids and trying to line up sitters, and you know they don't start.
It's
till
also it's an expensive
hours.
habit
Yeah,
too.
for
Yeah,
sure.
expensive
But-
hobby.
Yeah, me and my wife. I mean, thankfully we have like similar taste in music. So like John Paul White was another one we went and saw local.
Okay.
Civil Wars. I don't know if you remember them.
Mm-hmm.
They broke up, and he's
Yep.
doing his solo thing, and he's amazing. We went to Denton up there and saw him at a local pub, and it was amazing. But yes, if I could, I would go to a ton of concerts. Love music. I love the experience.
What's the biggest like best concert you ever went to? Biggest? I don't know if I want to say biggest name because that doesn't necessarily mean best. Most memorable.
Well, Smashing Pumpkins, I went when they did the reunion tour, so
Nice.
that was like my bucket list.
Okay.
They were in
Okay.
Dallas. They got back together, at least 3 of the 4 members, and we went. So that was a special thing for me. That was pretty amazing. I remember though going to Taste of Minnesota when I was young though, and this is when I first like was starting to get into music. me and my buddies got in the car, just went up there, and we saw Fuel. I don't know if you remember them, alternative band.
I've seen Fuel 5 or 6 times.
So
I was a huge Fuel fan, actually.
I didn't know them at all, and we were right in the front, and it was just out in front of the Capitol building, and all these stages were set up, and we went, and we were so close to the stage, and then they just
was Brett rocking the red snakeskin pants?
Man.
Yeah.
So they played the Untitled song, and like our hair just like blew back, like the guitar. It was just like, and then they came down, they talked to us. It was just like, that was kind of like my first step of like just loving that type of music.
Yeah, I was a big Fuel fan. I don't know why I've always enjoyed Brett Scallion's like writing. But I've seen them, I think five times. I think I've seen them. Only once as they were doing a small tour, but every other time was them opening up for someone else.
Yep.
But usually for a big band, big name.
Of course.
So interesting. Okay. Have you seen like the same artist multiple times?
John Paul White, I saw Civil Wars before they won the Grammy. I got to meet him in a small pub out in Dallas. It was awesome. There was only probably about 40 people that were there.
Nice.
It was real intimate. I've seen him 3 times. Carey Brothers, seen him 4 times. Love him. So if you see these CDs up here, those are the guys that, the 2 I just mentioned, signed CDs. So,
nice.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So those are the ones I've probably seen the most.
Gotcha. I'm always good with that because I've seen Aerosmith 9 times.
Wow.
And I'm not like I'm an Aerosmith fan, but I'm not like I don't even have all their albums. Like
Sure.
I'm a big fan, but like I saw them 9 times. I've seen Tom Petty 3 times. I've seen Bon Jovi like a lot. But I've seen like a lot of bands. I've seen Motley Crue like 5 times, and I'm like, I like Motley Crue, but like I just never forget. I was just out of high school. And my buddy Eric. This was AOL Messenger days. Messages me. He's like, "They're coming," and I'm like, "Who's coming?" He's like, "The Crew," and I'm like, "The Motley Crue?" Like this was like when they first came back to start touring again, and he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "They're touring?" He's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "It's like $15 at Blossom." I'm like, "Oh, let's go!" And we went. We're at the show, and he's like, "Dude, they're in Pittsburgh next week." I'm like, let's go to that too. And so we went to Pitt like that. So it's we did that.
For $15, why not?
No, there was one year where my buddy Chad, not Chad Strosky, other Chad. That's how my kids know him. Like there's like 3 Chads in our lives. One of my oldest friends in the world, Chad. We went in like a 2-week span. We saw like 7. We were at 7 shows, and it was like Bon Jovi, then Tom Petty, then Aerosmith, then Bon Jovi again in a different city, then Motley Crue, then Aerosmith again in a different city, then Motley Crue in a different city. It's just like the same bands over and over again. But we just drove back and forth between Cleveland, Akron, and Pittsburgh. It was just, I miss that stuff. Bare Naked Ladies, I've seen them multiple times. They are
8 times. Wow.
They are fantastic in concert. They are a band that Bare Naked Ladies there's like nothing to the show. There's no like pyro. There's no like it's just them on stage, but they're just killer. They're just killer. So anyway, all right, moving on. Okay, here we go. Favorite drink at Starbucks? Are you a Starbucks guy? Is that your go-to?
Yeah, I've been there every morning this week. I'll say that.
And what's your drink? You just get coffee, or you go food?
Black coffee. Nope.
Black coffee. And you go to Starbucks for your black coffee?
Just Pikes. I love Pikes.
Okay, I think Starbucks coffee tastes burnt.
Some places it does.
No, like every time I've ever gotten a Starbucks coffee, I feel like it's burnt. And I say that as a former barista, like not a Starbucks barista. Right. Maybe that's why. But
that's why.
But no, like back then I didn't really like coffee. I could just tell you a lot about it. But I don't know. I don't like their. It's fine. You put a little something in it. It's okay. But I feel like just black, it tastes burnt. Anyway, do you ever get anything else, or is it always black coffee for you?
Always black coffee, man. I just like black coffee.
Megan, where's that at? Because the last time I saw Bare Naked Ladies, it was Ben Folds too, down in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Ben Folds is great too.
Ben Folds is. I've seen him. I think I've only seen him twice. Saw Hootie just before. Finally saw Hootie and the Blowfish, and it was like he's another one. I'm like,
Yeah.
I like Darius Rucker, I like Hootie, but like that was like a, they hit when I was, when I was younger, so it was a cool one. So, they were pretty good too. But the Bare Naked Ladies
Did he start playing country?
He played one night of it was Hootie, so they played that stuff. But Bare Naked Ladies were with him, and honestly, I'm just like they were like Hootie was good, but Bare Naked Ladies they're just good. All right, we got some things coming up.
Ballots.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not where I went. I was in when I saw them. That was in. I'm trying to think of Ben Folds with him on this one too. I think it was just Hootie and Bare Naked Ladies. All right, so nothing exciting at Starbucks. What's your favorite? What's the go-to snack? What's Josh Stamper's go-to snack?
I love peanut M&Ms. That's like my weakness.
Peanut M&Ms?
Yeah. I can't stop.
Peanut butter, or plain M&Ms were my weakness. That's why I had to give up candy.
It's just peanut M&Ms for me. But yeah, I've been pretty good like the last couple of months. I've just tried not to.
I gotta check I gotta check my tracking. Hold on, let me see. It's been
your list has to be pretty long by now.
214 days since I've had candy, which means which includes M&Ms. But M&Ms were the reason that happened because I was just pounding them.
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
I can't even say that because I had candy yesterday.
Adam, was it just was it at Blossom Music Center, Adam? Or was that Blossom 2 summers ago? I think I want to say July. That would be it. Who did they performed Let Her Cry in front of it was a Waffle House backdrop. It was interesting. Pizza or tacos?
Oh man, I love them both.
That's why it's a good question.
Canadian bacon and pineapple pizza.
So Hawaiian pizza essentially.
Yeah. It's Hawaiian.
In Texas, interesting. Cats or dogs?
I didn't always live in Texas. See,
that's true. You were in Minnesota. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have California is actually where we picked up the Hawaiian pizza. That's
where that makes sense.
Stuff came from. Yeah,
makes sense. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Okay. I was going to clarify as pets, not as food. Clearly cats if it's food.
Not even going there. Anyone who wants to put in the comments on that one. we'll light Jeff off.
Bucket list vacation. Like, where is the destination you've never been that you really want to go? Or maybe the family as a whole has never been wants to go. Or are you cool?
No, I want to. I've been to Europe in Sweden, but I haven't been anywhere else. And so, being a art person, I would love to go to Italy and pieces or France and the Louvre, just to see art. I just want to see, just really, kind of the old art history pieces that interest me. So at some point, maybe when the kids, whenever that may be, because I've got a million of them, whenever they get older and me and Leslie can go out and travel the world, that's the bucket list.
Gotcha. Yeah. Adam says Ireland. I've never had a real big urge to go anywhere. I'd really love to go to Hawaii someday. That's just what we talked about. Amy's been there, but I haven't, so she's not allowed to talk about it. That's probably honestly the place I want to go, and I don't even know why. I just would really like to go to Hawaii. And then the only other thing for me is I really want to go cage diving with sharks somewhere. And off the coast of Africa is probably the place that would make the most sense. Get the great white stuff, but that could also happen in Hawaii. But I'd love to go cage diving with sharks. Now, with that said, I'm not sure I'll get in a cage. I'm pretty sure I will because I just love sharks. I just love sharks. Yes, I love sharks.
I did not know that about you, Jeff.
Yeah, I love Shark Week.
I was gonna say Shark Week. You're probably all over that.
They destroyed me last year because they shifted it so it was no longer on the week of my birthday, and I'm like, what's up with that? It's always been on the week of my birthday. I've always I don't know. I just find them super fascinating, and I just love. I don't know. So I record all the Shark Week stuff, and my kids like sharks because of that. And
one of my boys really like sharks. Yes. One
of the coolest things I ever got to do was when. It was probably about 10 years ago now, we were down in North Carolina, I think Sunset Beach, and just sitting down, with our feet like just where the waves are like just hitting a little bit of water and just reading books or whatever. And at this point, I was like, I hadn't gotten to where I like enjoyed like sitting and reading a book, so I just like was so bored because my family and everyone just sat down there and like read books, and I'm like, we didn't have the kids yet. It was just my nephew who was like, he just sat in the sand because he couldn't walk much. We're just sitting there and like I'm watching the waves just like finish up on the sand and go out, and like I see this like weird like shaped thing. I'm like, the sand, it's kind of cool. Like the water cut that sand. It kind of looks like a shark's fin. I'm like, oh, that's a shark. When it's a shark, just a little guy that got washed up. And so I went down, and my wife we had this big hole dug for my nephew to like play with water. And so Amy knew, so we revived the shark by moving it around so the gills got the oxygen stuff. We're messing with the sock, and people are stopping and checking out and stuff. And I got to walk out and release the shark back out in the water, which was just like the coolest thing for me. So.
If it was small, I could see that.
It was small. It was like, it was about that. I mean, it wasn't, don't get me wrong. If it turned around, I guess, it could have got me with a nice chunk, but like,
yeah,
it was a little guy just like sitting out. There was one time when we were younger, when I was probably like 16, 17, somewhere in that range, where my brother Mark and I were out, and I'm about, I don't know, we're about like 3 or 4 or 5 feet apart from each other, and a fin went right in between us. And again, probably smaller. My mind probably makes it bigger than it was. It was probably a little guy. We just went booking in like hilariously, but like even then, like I wasn't like scared of it. I was like, oh, like I really want to like, if I could see on the water here, it'd be really cool. Like, yeah, but I'm not stupid either. So I don't know. Love sharks. What's going on here? The team splits up and forms for Summit PDB. Oh, okay. All right, Adam. Adam's always got some really good ideas here.
I like the excuse to go abroad.
I like it.
I'll go to Ireland or Scotland for that.
All right, Josh, you can go to dinner, and you're able to invite anyone to come have dinner with you. Who are you inviting?
Jeff Gargas.
Don't lie. Come on. I'm hosting the dinner. You're allowed to invite anybody else in the entire world to come. Greg did not specify whether this is alive or dead, if it's one of those things. So we're going to say alive. Someone who's alive
Someone who's alive.
We'll pretend that anyone in the world would accept your invitation. Who would it be?
All right. I'll go sports. Anthony Edwards. He's Timberwolf.
Like Goose?
Goose? What?
The actor that played Goose is Anthony Edwards.
Oh, no. It's probably the rookie of the year for the Timberwolves.
I know. I'm just...
But, Top Gun.
Top Gun or Timberwolves. I'm pretty sure Top Gun's winning. I'm just saying.
Obviously.
Similar question, but it's a little more specified. And if a celebrity gets to co-teach with you, who do you pick? There's 2 ways you can go here. You can go with this is another opportunity to like hang out with someone that you would really like to hang out with, or you have to think of like who would be good in a classroom with you and like actually,
How about like Jack Black or someone like funny? Like just
he's a great teacher, great educator, by the way. Jack Black.
Yeah, I'd say him.
His math is a very anyway.
And he plays guitar.
Math. Yeah. Jack Black. All right, I like it.
This stuff on TikTok's hilarious.
It is.
He's usually not wearing a whole lot of clothes in those TikToks. That's funny, but
that's true. That's true too. So that was the end of the questions, and I have nothing more to talk about.
Oh, perfect. All right.
Yes, we're referencing School of Rock, which is what that would happen. What that would be. So I'm going to go into though because we didn't get to this one. The favorite movie of all time.
Good Will Hunting.
Ooh, that's like my top 5 too, for sure. It's quite possibly my favorite, but it's definitely right there.
I can't even tell you how many times I've seen it. And the soundtrack too, like Elliott Smith. Talking about another. Person I'll listen to. Elliott Smith's amazing.
Least favorite person in the world, and I only say that because mine just jumped down in the back room here.
What?
Who is your least favorite person in the whole world?
No idea. I don't even know what to. I don't know how to answer that.
I'm just You don't have like if I asked my mom who's your least favorite person in the world, she wouldn't skip a beat. She'd say Steph Curry. She hates Steph Curry. She wants to smack that stupid mouthpiece out of his mouth.
So like,
and when I tell her that if he played for the Cavs, she'd love him, and she's like, "No, I wouldn't." I'm like, "Yeah, you would."
Anyone from the Green Bay Packers? How about that?
Anyone from the Green Bay Packers? All right, interesting. Okay.
I mean, as you can see, I got Vikings gear up.
Yeah, I see that. So this is where the joke of my least favorite person was that Dave's here.
My friend,
listen,
jerk.
Listen, everyone, if you're watching, guys, please don't go. I know that I said that Dave was not coming today, but
I was wondering where you're going with that question.
He has admin rights. Like, it's just one of those things. Anyway, what's up, Dave?
What's up, Dave?
Hello. You guys
Dave,
have a good thing going, and I'm just hitting in the background, and then you're insulting me like crazy.
Dave, moments before you got on, I said the line, "I have no more questions for you," so I guess whatever, or something like that. Dave, favorite movie of all time? Who's putting you right into this?
I've got a top 3.
No, I want the favorite.
He just won one.
Don't give me this. Don't give me the typical Dave Schmittou cop out.
Right.
Give me the real thing here, brother.
I'll just go direct. A Few Good Men.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. All right, Dave, same question to you. Least favorite person in the entire world?
Well, right now, it might be different than what might have been like 5 minutes ago.
Okay, we'll go 5 minutes ago before I took the title.
What I would have said a group of people. There was a group of Teach Better ladies that got together today, and then they were taunting me with their pictures saying, "Ha, ha, ha, you're not here, Dave."
Oh, well, you know what's even worse? They didn't send me a single picture.
Well, I had to harass them and say, "Where's all the pictures?" But then
I called them.
My nose in it, so
I called them. You know what's even worse is I call them and I'm like, "All right, well, I just want to say hi to everyone." Ray's like, "Yeah, well, thanks for lunch." Click.
Wow,
that's awesome.
So I canceled her credit card.
Good call.
Rightfully so.
Unfortunately, it was too late. People are excited to see Dave. Dave, so when we started this, it was funny because I was earlier, like, you're like, "Hey, if you need me to jump, I'll try to jump in as soon as I can." I'm like, "Yeah, I got Josh. It's cool." And you're like, "Oh, Josh, that's good." And like, I don't know if you were at this point, Dave. Me, I'm like, "Oh, this is awesome. Josh is on Brain Break." Completely forgetting that Josh was on Brain Break last week. Like, I completely forgot that Josh was
just become the thing now. Josh,
it's
Brain Break with Josh and Jeff. Yeah.
Well, and next week we're throwing everyone curveball because you and I aren't going to be here at all. Neither one of us is here, huh? Is it just going to be Josh? Josh, are you doing Brain Break next week? Did we clear that with you?
I just keep getting messages like, "Hey, you're on Brain Break, so, I'll be there."
Hey, Josh. We were going to wait to do it, but Dave and I, we can't wait any further. We're just going to let it out of the bag now. Next week, it's you. And your co-host is Jack Black. Congratulations, buddy.
I'll be lakeside in a tent.
Well, Jack's going to be very disappointed, but whatever. You said you'd pick him to co-teach. Hey, Dave, same question to you. If you could have any celebrity.
Tim McGraw.
I know. As soon as I started asking, why am I asking this? Other than Tim McGraw,
okay.
Any other celebrity that would co-teach a class with you, who would it be?
Ooh.
And I told Josh you can go 2 ways. One way is like, this is an opportunity for me to hang out with a celebrity. The other way is, who would actually be a really good teacher, do you think, with you? Like, that could actually really help get something going.
That is a good one. Bill Nye would be pretty cool. Carrie Underwood would be a lot of fun.
I definitely want more fun.
Okay. So
Josh went with Jack Black.
Yeah.
Oh, no way. I'm sorry.
You're not a Jack Black fan?
I am not a Jack Black fan. Sorry.
Is it his music or his acting? Or both?
It is him.
It's just him.
It is. Yeah, it's kind of him.
So are you a fan of the movie The Jackal then? Where he gets blown up and shot by?
No, because he's in it. I don't know that I've seen it. So
he gets like every limb blown off. Anyway,
like when I watched Jumanji, I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson, so I watch Jumanji, but then I have to like tune out and go earmuffs when his scenes come up. I'm not a Jack Black fan.
Just like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah. He's just over the top. He's one of those guys. Reminds me of like Jim Carrey from 15 years ago. He's just always on. and he doesn't know how to turn it off.
All right,
There's
time
no
out.
change of pace.
Are you putting Jim Carrey in a bucket of like people that you don't like as well?
No, I have mad respect for Jim Carrey now. But maybe 15 years ago, Jim Carrey did not know how to turn it off. He was always in character.
He was always a character at like every award ceremony and stuff, but it's freaking awesome.
Yeah. Well,
he was dressed up as a hippie. It was hilarious at the MTV Movie Awards.
But he
used to
paid
love
the price
that.
because he lost his train of who he really was because he was always doing the shtick. And it just became too much for me. And I was like, it
was too much for him.
Buddy. Yeah, true.
Quite burnt out.
Yeah.
So for me, if I co-taught, I'm pretty sure I'd have Matthew McConaughey.
Ooh.
All right.
The future governor of Josh's state.
So
maybe.
I've always been. So Neil Patrick Harris would be a fun one
That's
too.
good.
That would be a fun one. That would be really entertaining. So I've always been a fan of Matthew McConaughey. Honestly, like I'm gonna be honest. Ever since Dazed and Confused, but like as he's gone, I've been like, oh, like this guy's like he's a good actor. He's smart. He's fun. He understands like when to play the all right, but okay, but also doesn't like he wants to break away from it. He's given some like really great talks and stuff that I've seen. And then recently, I've gotten into Justin Long. I don't know if you know Justin Long, the actor. His podcast, Life is Short with Justin Long, and he interviews celebrities. But he had McConaughey on too, and it was a great interview, like about his book. So then I've got one of the books. My audio book for my trip is actually Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights,
and he reads it too.
No, I know that's what.
That's awesome.
I hate audiobooks when they're not written by the person. If it's like someone that I know, like I really like the author itself. Like I don't want Gary Vaynerchuk's book read by some audio narrator, right? I want it there. But same like Matthew McConaughey. Like I want Matthew McConaughey reading that book. It's supposed to be really good. I guess he journal. Did you read it?
No, Leslie, my wife, she just got done with it.
Because he like it's.
Like,
I guess
you have to read this. You have to read this. So
he's been journaling and writing and stuff like for decades, and he went back and he spent like a year. Like he went on like these little like months long trips all throughout the years of where he'd go and just spend that time. It was literally just him going through all these old journals trying to find things he wanted to talk about. It was just some really cool stuff. So I'm excited about that. So I do that. I think he'd be a great teacher in a lot of ways.
For sure.
So Dave, pizza or tacos?
Pizza.
Okay,
sure.
He was quick on that too. You went pizza too.
But if I had to choose like an ethnicity for my food, I'm going with Mexican food.
Okay, but
like
those
pizza.
two particular. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
If it's pizza, what are you putting on the pizza? Like, what's the go-to for Dave?
Yes. I don't care what you're putting on it. I'm eating it. I could eat pretty much any kind of pizza you throw my way. I worked at Papa John's when I was in college. That's how I paid my way through college, was delivering pizzas. And I literally worked 40 hours a week during school delivering pizzas until 4 a.m. And that's what not only paid my bills, but kept me fed. And you would think I'd be sick of it by now.
No,
it was heaven on earth. It was absolutely incredible.
I also worked at a pizza place for a summer.
I did very, very short stint managing a pizza place. Yeah, very, very short. I got over it real quick and had another opportunity. But 250.
Megan Wells' comment, is she talking about one of you guys? Or is she talking about...
it's Josh. Listen, I didn't want to bring it up because he doesn't like talk about it. But
okay, fair.
257 days, Josh, for pizza.
Your list.
I'm creeping. I'm getting creeping to that year on the pizza.
I'm pretty much thinking that all you do is drink water and eat celery.
That was a big one for me, pizza, because the problem with pizza was I can't just eat like what I should eat. Like I always eat like I eat a good meal of pizza, and then I'm like, I'm gonna eat 3 more pieces than I should ever eat. And that's what I do. And then I feel horrible for the rest of the night. And then the next day I'm like, oh, I'm sure glad I got 2 larges because I'm warming up way more than I should eat too. And I do it again. And then 3 days in, I'm like, I hate my life. And so eventually I stopped.
It's like when you go to a pizza buffet and you know the pizza's not even all that good.
But you're still eating every
oh my gosh, that becomes breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the next 2 days because you just enjoyed the snot out of it.
Yeah, it's tough. Dave, let's go. What are you streaming right now, Dave? What are you streaming? What are you binging? Anything? On like
Well,
Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, where'd you go to?
I think I finished them all. Like
Just
all,
everything.
all of the streams. All of the streams.
So what I'm watching right now on Amazon Prime is a bunch of the adventure marathon type things, like about the Barkley marathons and these people that go out and run 100 miles and Iron Cowboy. I don't know if you're familiar with his work. So there's this guy. If you look him up on Instagram. Yesterday he just finished 100 Ironman triathlons in 100 days, which is like 2.5 mile swim, 112-mile bike ride, and a 26.2 marathon every single day for 100 days.
That's absurd.
It's insane. So there was an Amazon Prime special about him. He did 50 marathons in 50 states in 50 days. Wow. So that was pretty cool.
That's insane. Can't even fathom that.
It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Anyway,
and the I'll just geek out on this real quick. The triathlons that he just did, he did them all on the same route in Utah every single day too. So 100 days of all of that in a row, the same route. So I know, Kaplan. I'm sorry.
Nice.
I know it's running.
Here I am getting all jazzed up because I'm going to go after a half marathon at the end of next month. Like that's something special. Gosh, that's nuts. Okay. What is it? Do you have a go-to, Dave? Like, is Prime your go-to, or like Netflix, or do you like Josh and I were talking? We both we have them all, and it's just really just whatever happens to grab. Like, there's a period where I'm like, why do I still have Netflix? I haven't watched it forever, and now I have some stuff on Netflix that I'm watching. Mm-hmm. But like, do you have them all too, Dave?
I think so. I literally only watch TV maybe a half hour at nights. Once all the kids are down and I'm just trying to decompress. I'm actually one of those weirdos that'll still turn on like cable TV. Are you familiar with cable TV?
We still have it.
I'll watch what that is.
I'll watch like the National Geographic Channel or Discovery Channel or something like that just to get tired. But I do stream like Netflix. I can't wait for the next season of Ozark to come out. There's a couple things I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the next season of Cobra Kai to come back out. So
me too.
I got a couple go-tos.
Yeah, waiting on that one. Yes, Jeff, I think disc golf every day absolutely counts. 100% counts. I feel like this one's a given too, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Give us a song that's on your most played list. Is there a song on there that's not Tim McGraw?
Actually, yeah.
Brantley
Gilbert, Bottoms Up. That is a fun song to sing when you're running. I'm going running as much as I can. Anytime I can work running into the conversation, Kaplan. Running is coming into the conversation, Kaplan.
Are you so you run? You have music? Is it typically? Is it all country?
No, I've got it's a playlist of about 150 songs and it's randomized. So every time I go out on a run, because I found myself, I would get myself into a rut where the same songs would hit the same benchmarks, and it was messing with my mind if the song started and I wasn't where I was supposed to be. Like psychologically, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm too slow. So I have to randomize it.
Yeah, I do mine on shuffle, and I've got, I don't know if it's that many, but I've got like I've got enough where if I wanted to, I could do a full marathon and I'd be fine. So what's that for me? It's probably like 8 hours, right? But but I have a mix. Like most of it's mostly rock, and then I have rock and rap. That's what I've got. And then mixing them together, I've got Ed Sheeran in there because his duets album was just killer. But yeah.
You should get some Ed Sheeran singing with DaBaby. That would be quite the duet. See if you can rate
that. One of my favorite is a song called "Remember the Name," which is Ed Sheeran with Eminem and 50 Cent, and it's just like it's good. And Ed Sheeran was the one who made me like different artists that I don't necessarily normally like. But
with his collaborations,
with his collaborations, yeah.
Stamper, what's your go-to? I don't know that I know this about you.
As far as music,
yeah.
Yeah, I was telling him anything but country.
Yeah,
he did. That's what he said.
So you would prefer classical or Broadway to country?
Yes.
Oh, yes, Mozart.
Yeah, I mean,
you live in the heart of Texas. How can you say that and
but he's from
walk down the streets?
I had to remind you of this.
Prince fan? Are you a Prince fan?
Oh yeah, I love Prince.
Like, is it true? Like in Minnesota, is he really like? Is he like?
He's
he is everywhere, but like in Minnesota, even more so.
Yes, he's beloved. Yeah.
Gets blown up.
Yeah. First Ave is pretty much a shrine to him. I mean, Paisley Park. I mean, it's a big deal. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yep. So I like alternative rock is what I go back to.
We talked about his Smashing Pumpkins love.
Love Smashing Pumpkins.
Then we got into a whole thing about concert stuff, which Dave, you and I, if we got our tickets, aren't we supposed to we're doing a show in...
And I should change my answer. I should change my answer to Billy Corgan eating lunch with him. That's who I should.
Yeah, that'd be a good one too.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? I don't know why they did a bunch of them. I don't remember what it was, but there was a time where MTV was doing series, like it was a commercial that they had that was like, it showed like the artists, like what they thought they would be like when they were younger, and then what they are now. Like it was the Billy Corgan one, like he's just a little nerdy kid at school, and like some kid like trips him as he walked back to his desk, and he's like, "Take that, nerd," or something like that, and it's Billy Corgan. So like it's then that kid in the audience watching him on stage, and I don't know why they did like 15 or 20 of these different artists, and for some reason still now, like 20 years later, the Billy Corgan one sticks in my head. Like I can literally like see it like so clear in my head.
Could you relate to that? Is that why? Is that what
No. There was a really good chance like it was one of my friends that tripped the kid, but I was friends with that kid too. Like I would have been the one who then told him stuff. Like in high school, like I had. Like my best friends were both the captains of the football team, basketball team, baseball team and stuff, and the kids who those guys would normally have shoved in a locker. And the only reason they didn't was because I stopped them. But I was also like my best friends were like the jocks, but they're also like the cool kids that weren't the jocks. So like my friends fought a lot. It was a weird time for me, but I was always in the middle because I liked everyone. So I didn't like clique type stuff, but we're not going down that. That's a way long time ago. So we're going back to these questions. Dave, favorite go-to snack other than tacos and pizzas?
Does beer count?
No. That's just given, I think, at this point.
That's a beverage.
That is a beverage.
So I've discovered my own healthy snack that I make now. I have to make it once a week. You take some bananas, smash them up with peanut butter.
I like it.
Oatmeal, a little protein powder, and a couple of chocolate chips. Put them in the oven for 15 minutes, and they come out. They are incredible. That's incredible. It's kind of like a no-bake cookie, but with bananas and no cocoa. It's super good.
Yeah. My go-to. This has actually been my go-to. It's my lunch a lot of days. I do the big rice cakes, the chocolate rice cakes with the crunchy peanut butter on it, and then an apple. Like. It's this weird connection of like the chocolate and the peanut butter and the apple and everything. But it's fairly healthy because the chocolate, but you get a little bit of that chocolate in there, but you're not like, you know what I mean? Like, and it all falls, all stuff I'm allowed to eat. So it's all really good. Anyway. Kaplan's got to go. We talked, Dave, earlier, we talked a lot, Josh and I were talking a lot about concerts and stuff. Kaplan's asking first concert. Drop in the comments if you're watching. What's your first concert you ever went to? Dave?
Yeah.
What's the first one you ever went to?
The first concert I went to, the first real concert, was Neil Diamond.
No kidding, really?
Yeah, with my mom. Neil Diamond in the round at the Norfolk Scope. Norfolk, the home of Becky Schnexer. I saw Neil Diamond at the Norfolk Scope. Yep.
Wow. Josh? Was it Prince?
I don't know. No. I'll have to think about this, man. I don't.
Three Dog Night. I've seen Three Dog Night. Ooh. I saw them when they were really old and they shouldn't have been playing anymore, but I've seen them.
I mean, we talked about Fuel. That might have been
DC Talk. Ones. I knew DC Talk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, DC Talk.
Wow. Kaplan's out here capping everybody with Rolling Stones. My first ever was, who was it?
Sixpence Nuns and the Richer, I think, was around that.
Disney? Really?
Long time ago.
Nice. Mary, same. Neil Diamond. My first ever was Alanis Morissette. Jagged Little Pill Tour.
Oh, that is ironic because I was. No, it's not ironic.
It wasn't ironic. We saw her 2 days after she like cleaned up at the awards ceremony and stuff. Candlebox. Yeah.
Candlebox, who said the Monkees? Who said the Monkees?
Who said the Monkees? The Monkees was. Why is it not showing up? It's not showing up on here. Who is that?
Whoever said the Monkees, you are one of my heroes right now. That is epic.
Whoever said the Monkees, make sure because you're coming up as Facebook user.
Pink Floyd.
The Monkees. So my first ever, I'll call them an album. My first ever cassettes. My mom bought me 3 cassettes for Christmas one year. One was the Monkees, one was the Beach Boys, and one was Bruce Springsteen. Born in
It was
USA.
Brianna.
Brianna. Okay.
Yeah, Brianna Shannon. Nice.
And the Monkees were my band in the early '80s that I listened to.
So you watched the TV
Rewind?
show?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Interesting. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. First cassette was Thriller.
Oh, great album.
Great. Yeah.
I have that album on my phone. That's part of my playlist. Is that album?
I actually know the guy who wrote all the liner notes for Thriller. Like, did all the PR work and all the like everything inside the cover and everything.
That's cool.
Gene Shelton was Michael Jackson's publicist. That's who I taught under at Kent State University when I was an adjunct. Was Michael Jackson's publicist. There's also Tevin Campbell's publicist. If you remember Tevin Campbell from the early '90s, he was Michael Jackson's publicist for Thriller, and I think he ended up doing 3 or 4 albums with him before Gene got promoted up. He actually ended up retiring as the VP of public relations for Warner. Interesting.
So I see a lot of people talking about cassettes on here.
Yeah, lots of cassettes.
Did any of you in your first car or any car have a cassette player? Number one, and
Yes.
then 2, did you have one of those CD players with the little fake cassette that you had to stick in the cassette player so
Yes.
the CDs would play?
So my first car I got my first car in '99, and it had both. So I had a CD player in it. Yeah.
And did you have
upgraded
a
though,
multi-CD player in the trunk that like had to rotate the CDs for you?
The first car, my second car had that.
Oh,
It still had both, but it had the 6-disc changer in the back. Yeah.
And then you had to take the face off because you were afraid that someone was going to jack it. So
Yeah.
you had
Mine were built in, so it wasn't like after.
Oh, you guys were high rollers. Okay.
I had a Chevy Cavalier.
No, you did not. That was my
Yeah,
first car.
I had a Z24. Was it Z24?
No, mine was a 1986 Chevy Cavalier station wagon. So
Mine was a 90. Mine was a 99. A white.
I had an 86 Cavalier.
Five-speed.
My second car was a 93 Cavalier. So
my second car was after I started making some money, but we're still living at home, and I actually got myself an Acura RSX Type S.
holy cow.
Acura was my first one.
So here's the thing: we go. My dad goes with me. We go to the dealership because like I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, all right, well, we can buy a car. I'm going to go with you. And he was in the Acura, like he was like an Acura type. So we got Acura, and they had used cars too. And he talks to the guy, and he's got them like they were pulling out like 3 different cars, like different types of stuff that none of them were Acuras because that was out of which is but we're driving in, and I see it. It's like up on. They've got it up on like a display. This Acura RSX. I'm like, oh, like I want one of those. My dad's like, you can't. You're not getting one of those. So we go in, and I joke to the sales guy about that. He goes, oh, the one that's sitting out on the ramp. I go, yeah. He goes, oh, you're in luck. And I'm like, why? He's like, because it's ridiculously cheap. Because some guy bought it, drove it for 5 days, and turned it back in. So like, as soon as it goes off the lot, like it plummets in price. So it was actually like just a little out of my price range, so I stretched and was able to get it. And the guy had gotten it. He had put like a cool shifter on it, chromed out everything to put a chrome extension on the exhaust and all this stuff, like souped it up and then turned it in. Turns out, we actually figured out that we knew some people that knew this guy. He was some wealthy guy in the area that literally bought cars, usually drove them for the 30-day tags, and would turn them in because he was just trying to find the right car, and he didn't believe you could do it on a test drive. It was some weird, I don't know. That'd be a life, wouldn't it? So I ended up being able to get the car, and it was the next year that Need for Speed, the game, came out, and the highlighted car that you could like unlock was that car. And it was like, at 21, that was like the coolest thing in the world. So I'm like, yeah, that's my car. Lots of trouble. There was a 6-speed. It was really, really fast.
I bet.
And, yeah.
My first car cost me $420. Right.
It was a little more than $420.
So I lived in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. And down there, they have 2 things that are considered island specials: cars and dogs. An island special is something that never leaves the base. So people will buy a car, they'll get it shipped down there in a barge, and then the car just stays there, and new people move in, and they'll buy the car. And the same thing happens with dogs, because if you want to leave and bring your pet with you, it has to get quarantined for 3 months or 6 months. So people will just take it and they'll just sell it. So dogs and cars are recycled down there, and I bought a super cheap car that.
Do you know how many times had it been recycled? Do you know? Like, is that like? Curious, like
it was just like cash in the back pocket. Like there was no exchange of title or anything.
No
It's just stay
kidding.
there and you do your thing. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yep.
Interesting. I learned how to drive on a Lumina, Chevy Lumina. That had the tape that we used so when my brothers were driving, that's what we started off, and that's how we learned how to drive and stuff. So interesting. Amy and I's car, our first car together, we did the tape thing with the CD player. That was a 1989 Ford Contour that her little grandpa drove like to church and golf, basically. It had like 4 miles on it, even though it was 20 years old or whatever. This is getting all kinds of memories going here. We're at an hour. Like we just like BS for like but everyone's in here like with what their first car was and stuff. So we're at an hour. I can't believe I was going to ask Dave one more thing and I lost it. Do we ask cats and dogs? Cats or dogs, Dave?
Dogs.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I know there are cat lovers in this room.
I love my cat.
My dog is kind of like a cat. My dog just hangs out in the back.
To be fair, my cat's kind of like a dog.
There you go.
I like them both though. Like we like cats and dogs.
Your cat just jumps on you at random times.
Yeah. He's pretty cool.
See, I'm too skittish for that. That's the kind of stuff that freaks me out. Is when the cat just sneaks up on you and.
Well, that's when you go to bed and he like climbs up on your chest and then he just goes this and like hits you in the face. He's like, "Hey, human, I want scratched," and you're just like, and I stop. And then he starts like nudging his head into you, and he's just like, and I'm just losing it laughing because I'm like, Amy's asleep, and this cat won't stop headbutting me, and then if you don't do anything long enough, he'll be like, "All right, so that didn't work," and the headbutt. All right, I'm gonna bite you. Is that gonna work? And then I throw him across the room, and we're done for the night. It's a great relationship.
That sounds fun.
It's a lot of fun. His bond with my son though is, so we actually moved. My son has a lofted bed, so we moved the cat tree up there. He wanted it there, and every night when Jonathan gets in bed, that cat is right up that tree. Boom, just waited. And he just kind of sits there and waits, like he's looking at Jonathan like, "God, dude, like settle so I can lay down." Jonathan gets settled. Cat lays down. Jonathan leans up, and the cat knows exactly what's going on. Jonathan like gets settled. He's all set, but then he sits up. Cat gets up, and they headbutt like that to each other, and then it's freaking it's crazy. So that's why we like cats. We like dogs too, though. Jonathan doesn't like dogs, so he's scared of them.
Okay.
Anyway,
Get that.
all right, one last one for Dave, and then we are going to go because we're over time. Dave. Garth Brooks or Tim McGraw? Oh, really? I didn't think that. I was trying to be stupid because I figured
No.
Is that actually? Is Garth Brooks actually like?
Garth Brooks.
I've actually seen him live.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, Garth Brooks has some great sing-alongs, like karaoke. If I'm
but like,
karaoke, it's Garth.
Okay,
Tim
like,
McGraw
but a couple weeks ago, it was disturbing. Like,
no.
Disturbing how much you knew about Tim McGraw's life.
If you're asking, like, who am I hanging out with on the weekend? Who do I idolize? Who do you
stalk?
It's Tim McGraw. Yes.
Yeah.
But like, who's most influential? Who has the better portfolio of music? It might be Garth. So
interesting. If you ask Tim McGraw and either one of them, like, hey, of the two of you, who's most likely to see Dave Schmidt's face in a window at a really creepy time? It's Tim McGraw.
It's Tim. He
probably
already has. Yeah.
He might tonight. Who knows?
He might actually already have a restraining order
young.
for that. I don't know.
Anyway, well, Dave, thanks for jumping in, dude.
Yes.
Hey, thanks for letting me be here. I gotta go. I gotta get my stuff together because I'm going to hang out with Chad tomorrow. So just saying.
I'll see you in 2 weeks. Because I was telling Josh earlier, like we're going to be in Florida. Like you're moving down there while I'm down there, but we're still like 6 hours away. We're actually further apart when we're both in Florida than we are right now in Ohio and Michigan. Just saying.
It's crazy.
Which is
speaking
sad.
of stalking, Mr. Stamper, I might be seeing you in a couple weeks too. Just saying.
Really?
Yeah, just saying.
What the heck's going on?
All right,
we'll talk about that after we get off.
Yeah, we are going to talk about that.
Well, Josh, thanks for joining me again this week, apparently.
Well, hopefully you remember it this time.
YouTube will remind me if I forget. So I appreciate you being here. Everyone jumping in. Awesome. Always love everyone jumping in the comments and sharing their whatever. First cars, first concerts, we did there was a lot of good questions today, a lot of stuff. So the Aspire group came through. These questions were all pulled from the Aspire group.
I love my Hofstra,
so
man.
that's a great group there. So shout out to you. We'll see you all tomorrow night for Teach Better Chat at 8:00 Eastern time, followed by at 8:30 for the recap. I think Katie's tomorrow night. Katie's taking the chat tomorrow night. So we'll see you then. Appreciate y'all. Have a good one.